Oh, get ready, get ready, get ready. It's Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cuso. And for the third hour of our show, you know, my co host is none other than Jeanette Diva J. Horge Smith. You're going to hear from
Hello.
her. Wait, did I hear a voice? You're going to hear from her just a little later on. But wait a minute. This show today is going to be about birthing, or maybe we should say births. So let me take this opportunity to say thank you to our In Touch News family, our Facebook family, our YouTubers, our social media platform. We thank you so much for tuning in. For the third hour of the show, the motto is catch the show that will be all up in your brand's business. So this is all about branding you, branding your business, branding that product and our service, that thing that you have decided to birth, be it your personal life or in your professional life. So we're going to hear from Diva J a little later on in the hour. You all know that she is now a new mother. We made that announcement to you that her baby was born. It's a little boy, and we'll talk more about that shortly. Look at that. Yes, we will be celebrating. We will be celebrating that phenomenal birth. How cute! How cute is that? Today, we're going to move forward. DBJ is going to be out on maternity leave for a couple of months. And so we have the pleasure of having joined us on the third hour of the show, Ms. Rolanda S. McDuffie, CPA. Welcome to Let's Talk Business with SJC and DBJ.
Thank you. Thank you for being, I appreciate you inviting me here. I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. And let me just start off by saying happy 45th birthday.
Thank you. Thank you
Aw.
so much. I am definitely happy to be celebrating another year of life, and I feel truly blessed.
Well, for those that do not know you, and they're part of our radio listening audience, and we do have viewers from all over the world, let me take this opportunity to have them join in to wishing you happy birthday. You can certainly go to her Facebook page and make your comments there. You'll see that she did an amazing kickoff on yesterday, and we will get to that. So let's put a pin in it. But who is this girl? So this is a show that talks about the who, the what, the when, the where, the how of who you are, what your business is, and or your cause. So for who you are, my goodness, you're native Tampa. Attended North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in accounting. Ms. McDuffie continued her education by obtaining an MBA with a concentration in computer resources and information management, as well as a master's in accounting and finance. Yes, she's been busy. Ms. McDuffie manages a successful full service CPA firm that she started over 8 years ago. Her professional passion is to assist nonprofit organizations and help small business owners grow and become financially fit through the use of accounting, tax, investing, and business advisory services. That same passion is what drives her to serve the community in various related capacities. And we'll hear more about that. In addition to running a CPA firm, she is also an adjunct professor teaching accounting, business, and software training courses. Ms. McDuffie is also frequently called upon to provide her expertise at workshops, seminars, and conferences. She currently serves on the board of directors of several nonprofit organizations and provide her expertise in various capacities to different nonprofit organizations all over the U.S. Now that's impressive, Miss McDuffie. I believe we have a delay in, I know you're saying something, but let's make sure and let's do a mic check real quick because I can see your movement, but I don't hear you. So
I apologize. I was on mute for some reason. So, so I was saying, yes, that sounds very impressive, even when I hear it.
Hey, look, this is you. This is you. You did it. And look, I'm just fortunate to have met you, man, probably around the 8 years ago. And you're starting your practice on the cover of DSI Black Pages. So we started that business partnership. We both serve on one of your boards, and I'm going to give a shout out to BWBOEE. Woo woo. And we will hear from maybe the president of the organization a little later on. But congratulations. And certainly there are questions that we have, but I want to take this opportunity to give a sneak peek into what's coming towards the end of the show. For those that are listening in, you probably saw last night or yesterday afternoon our Facebook post introducing you as the guest that was going to be on our show to talk about the woman, wisdom, and work. Part of that work is the fact that you are now a newly published author. So what a way to celebrate your birthday. You began that live demonstration on yesterday, and let me tell you, so proud of you. So very, very proud of you.
Well, thank you.
But let's do this. Tell us a little bit about, let me allow our radio listening audience, and if you're on Facebook, particularly if you're on Facebook, we're going to be giving away 2 copies of Miss McDuffie's book. And there it is, this amazing published author and this book, and she's going to tell us all about the book. But here's what you need to do if you're in our radio listening audience on Facebook, whether you're on In Touch, Facebook Live, or Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cusseau. You may be on Rolanda's Facebook Live. Our admins are going to be behind the scenes. We're looking for the 4th comment of the person in this half hour of our show that tells us via a Facebook post why you want Rolanda's book. Perhaps you're thinking about a nonprofit. Perhaps you work with a nonprofit. You supported a nonprofit. We all have at some point in time. But this book, Creating a Successful Nonprofit by Knowing the Numbers. Who do you know? Founder of a nonprofit? Perhaps a board of director member, an aspiring nonprofiteer? Who would you like to gift that book to? Or perhaps you want it for yourself. Remember, she's celebrating her 45th birthday. So the 4th comment explaining why I want Rolanda's book. Once our admins figure out who that 4th comment is coming from, that will be the person that will be mailed a copy of this birthday honoree's book. So that's who she is. She's on the show to talk about a little bit about that. And so we're going to delve right in talking about the woman. Tell us just a little bit about your Tampa family, Miss McDuffie.
Yes. Sure. So as you stated, I was born and raised here in Tampa, Florida, actually West Side. So West Tampa is where I'm from, and was born and raised and spent most of my days. But I also ventured off I attended King High School, and that's where I was first really introduced to accounting. And I took my first accounting course actually over at King High School. And so I was introduced to it, and I realized, one, that I was probably, I believe, one of 2 people in the class who actually understood and it made sense. And so I decided to take the 2nd class, and after taking that 2nd class, and it still made sense, and I was still one of only 2 people who it made sense to, I realized that it was, I had a passion for it, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was something that I wanted to go to school for. And so I went off to North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University and majored in accounting. But yeah, that's kind of how I built my foundation of from Tampa and moving forward into my career life.
Now, and because you're my friend, it's going to come out. I'll be saying Rolanda throughout the day.
Okay, no problem.
This question, because there's something that I noticed, and only because I've observed my children, my daughter is just a math whiz, and early on. And so, were you that type of person that your parents knew, or your siblings knew, or family members knew? That girl is just good with numbers.
So funny you say that, but no, I was not. So actually in the 7th grade, I almost failed math. I was on the brink of failing math, and there was happened to be a very close family friend who was a neighbor that lived across the street from my grandmother, who was a school teacher and principal. And so she sat with me, and that year she helped me get through 7th grade math. But had it not been for her, I'd probably still be in 7th grade right now. But it did get easier over time. And the thing about accounting, though, and what most people don't realize, yes, it is numbers, but it's more about theory and understanding when you should apply certain applications to certain transactions. And so, yes, you do have to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But again, it's that theory of really understanding why you're doing a recording a certain transaction the way that you are.
Well, that's good. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to ask you towards the end, but now that you're having this conversation, you're sharing something with us that we didn't know. What would you say to a young person? I was talking to a relative yesterday, and she was explaining how her niece was struggling with math. And she pretty much just said, I don't like math. I'm not good at math. And my relative decided to take her to a bookstore and purchase some books. But what would you, Miss Accountant, CPA, now author, what would you say to young people today? And not just young people, because I had another question for you. You kept talking about the 2 persons in your class really getting it. Were they males or females? And was the majority of the accounting class males or females?
That's a great question. So going to your first question, I would definitely say don't give up on whatever you feel is your dream or your passion, right? Even when things get tough, don't give up. I can honestly, but she was not a fan of me going to college to get an accounting degree because, and no disrespect to my mother, but just like a lot of people, they don't really understand what accounting is. She thought accounting was, data entry of paying bills or doing payroll. And her thing was, why am I going to pay for you to go to college to do that? You can go down the street and get a job and, learn that in like 2 weeks. Right? And I get it. But it was my passion that it was in me that I really wanted to be an accountant. And so I pushed forward and decided on my own that that's what I was going to do, regardless of what she said. I knew deep down inside that's what I wanted to be. And so to the young people or anybody just in general, I would just say, don't give up on your dreams or your passions or your goals. Because like I said before, I'm from West Tampa, right? Nobody thought that I would be here today and be an author, let alone a CPA. So, with that being said, I didn't give up, and I would just encourage everyone else not to give up on their passion and their dreams as well. And then speaking to your second question, this is definitely a male-dominated industry. And to that degree, just African Americans, we only represent maybe 3% of this industry alone. And so on top of that, 3%, just think about the number of Black women that are CPAs. It's a very small few in numbers. And so I am definitely happy and proud to be representing that small number, but we definitely need more in this industry to represent us as as our culture and as women too in the industry as well.
I'm glad you delved into that. The Black Page is 29 years old. Next year we'll be celebrating our 30th anniversary. And
congratulations.
Thank you. For years, and it wasn't until we started getting a lot of phone calls about, we appreciate the publication. We appreciate that you all have African American CPAs. They're all males. Can you refer us to a female CPA? And for the longest time, and we did, after having received those phone calls, we went in search of female CPA firms and ended up finding two. To your point, that is correct. There are a lot of CPAs, accountants, and CPAs, but when you talk about females, I still can only count them on one hand. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you and for sharing that information because perhaps, and that's one of the things I like about our show. For those that perhaps didn't catch it today, they'll be able to catch it tomorrow, next week, or a year from now. But to hear your message is going to be relevant, and that's what's important to young girls of what to do and how to do. So you found you had this love, you had this passion, you liked it, it clicked, and you decided that that's what you wanted to do, that's what you wanted to pursue. No friend to help you along. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Who got the first copy of your book outside of you and probably immediate family members?
So really it was just released yesterday and the first copy went to my mother, of course. That's just normal.
I'm hoping your 7th grade teacher is getting a copy of your book as well.
Unfortunately, I wish I could give her a copy, but she passed away last year, but she was 101 years old. So she lived a long and blessed life. But I truly wish that I could have passed that along and shared that this great blessing for sure. But unfortunately.
Well, why don't we do this? And because that now she has made an impact on your life at some point during the show, please shout her out. You never know what family member may be listening or what school she was at when she became that person that helped you on this journey, on this pathway of where you are, and to bring it to this point, to be able to be this professional. And we'll talk about how did you start your own business. But I did want to find that out. So God rest her soul.
Yes, thank you I'm sorry. I was just going to shout her out really quick. But thank you so much, Bessie Rodriguez. You were amazing, and I do appreciate your support. And to the family, Leslie and Namita, I hope that you will receive this blessing as well. So go ahead. I apologize.
Rolanda, that's beautiful. Dr. Davis and I would say one of the things the platform allows us to do is to be able to also put messages out into the universe and thoughts. And that was so special. And thank you so much. And God bless her. And to all of our teachers, particularly those that survived 2020 and the pandemic, and from virtual hybrid schooling and teaching. And here we are in 2021 and kind of half and half. So congratulations to all of our teachers and certainly essential workers, but thank you for making that. So that's a little bit you delved into who the woman is, but let's talk about this wisdom. You've gotten some of it from Teacher Rodriguez, and now you're looking to see. So you kind of helped us to understand the point to my next question, which was what helped to shape this life of you going into that particular field. But now that you're here, you're working with nonprofits, what do you think your major or your main purpose is for doing what you're doing?
I definitely have a heart for nonprofit organizations because of the fact that most of the founders and board members within these organizations, they have a heart for the community and want to see the community, better things for the community, whether it's social programs or activities that they're providing. And so with that being said, I definitely want to make sure that these organizations are starting out and they're successful when they start out. What I found when working with them in my business is that a lot of them have great intentions when it comes to starting a nonprofit organization. They want to go out and they want to do good in the community, and I applaud them for that. A lot of times they may fall short in the whole execution of doing the work that they want to provide in the community, in the sense that nonprofit organizations are a nuance. Even just talking from an accounting perspective, when as an accountant, when we're in college, we don't get, it's not normal for us to be trained on how how to do accounting for nonprofits. It's actually an elective that we have to take. And it just so happened that in my undergrad degree, I actually took the elective for nonprofit accounting. Who knew that one day I would actually be putting this to good use? But with that being said, a lot of founders and board members of organizations, they tend to think that they can run that organization the same way that you would a for-profit organization. And that's how they get caught up and run into a lot of issues and problems. And so I decided to create this book for them so that we can prevent that from happening and they can build a strong foundation and make sure that they are building successful organizations.
Girl on a path. So you've heard about the woman. We're talking a little bit about her wisdom, which at a young age, you decided right away what it was you wanted to do. You listened, you paid attention. You seem to have an amazing ability to discern what it is, what your path is, where you want to go and how you want to do it. Only because I know you and I appreciate that in you and about you. What would you say in this area, in this field of your business, has been your biggest struggle as a CPA?
Ooh, I think just starting out in business itself was a struggle, right? I think when we're kids and when we're growing up, we're taught how to be an employee, a good employee, how to go to work and do what you're supposed to do, get good benefits. But no one ever taught you how to be a business owner and the things that you need to do in order to be a business owner. I was a great employee. I could go to work. I did my work. But then how do you transition those skills into being a business owner? And I think for me, at least, that was just the understanding of it, because I didn't see that growing up and I didn't have that experience. And so I think the first few years of me starting out in business, I stumbled a lot just because of the learning curve and trying to understand what it meant to really truly be a business owner. And then just getting coaches along the way, outsourcing some things so that I wasn't so much I wasn't overwhelmed as much as more than I should have been, I should say. And so it's just a learning curve, and people don't tell you one thing that I learned. People don't tell you about the depression of being a business owner, right? And they don't talk about that very often. And so just realizing that you can possibly slip into that and recognizing what that looks like to pull yourself out of it. I think those were probably the hardest struggles for me in starting my business.
And I would have to agree with you as a business consultant and working with a lot of small businesses, especially startup businesses. And you hear this a lot. I am so excited. I am no longer have to report to this person or that person or this company. And I'm going to start my own business and hang my shingle with my name on it. Well, easily said than done.
For
you
sure.
can get that name, you can hang that shingle because that's just something you pay for. But when you find out at the end of the day that oftentimes you're wearing so many hats, and when you finally land perhaps your first contract, you owe so many people that you can't even pay yourself. But it's a process that you have to go through, and it really takes a team. And I say to individuals today, you've got to have a CPA, you've got to have a lawyer, someone to help you. Sure, there are a lot of us that didn't go that route and have managed to survive, but we then utilize that information and become experts and try to help you eliminate some of the mistakes that we encountered when we started our own businesses. And there were nights, I'll be the first to tell you that, girl, I put that head in that pillow and just, cried out to the Lord. Is this really what I was supposed to do? Or maybe this isn't for me. And, I did that corporate thing and maybe I need to leave, well enough alone. And so thank you so much for sharing that side of it. And that's where mental health becomes an important issue, and add that person to your arsenal of people. Yes. And it's great to have. This is what I like about you. If I had to sum you up as a business professional, I would also add that you are a phenomenal networker. My co-host Diva J would say, be relevant and be present in the room. I have been to a number of events and we'll always say, oh my goodness, look who's here. And we'll find each other, we'll find ourselves there and begin to have that conversation. But you're at so many different events. And you get that networking is important, especially when you are an entrepreneur.
I will say though that was a struggle for me in the very beginning because I'm an introvert and networking just pulls a lot of energy out of me. And so I had to figure out the best way to network for myself and make sure that I'm at the right events and not just going to any event just because it's
Correct.
there. And just utilizing the proper skills in networking. And so I will say that was a struggle for me in the very beginning as well. But I do applaud myself now because now I can walk in a room and I say, wow, I remember when I walked in a room years ago and I didn't know anybody in the room, or, now I can walk in a room, at least I know half of the people. And so it has been a progress. And I do appreciate that about myself as well. So thank you for observing that.
Absolutely, we can't help but, and it also got you to the position to where now you're called upon to be keynote speakers, to speak at workshops and seminars and conferences, and you've got a great one coming up in the month of August. And so, speaking of just that and how you begin to empower yourself, we have a guest, and let me see if she is on and can come on. We know her as a radio personality, Miss D, the job coach. She's an author as well. She has her ebook, and I believe she has something that she would like to say to you. I'm looking forward. She's going to talk a little bit about her empowerment conference. I'm looking forward to attending that conference because, we've kind of been locked in and have not been able to attend a lot of things. Welcome back to the show, Miss D.
Thank you so much for having me. I had to pull over so that I could jump on with you guys. I'm
well,
so
you got to tell them what you pulled over from, and what you pulled over in, Miss D.
Well, I'm in Irving, Texas today, and I'm pulling a 53-foot trailer because I drive an 18-wheeler truck.
Wow. Take that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, after a while, it's like driving your car. You just have to look back and make sure the trailer is still with you, It gets familiar after a while, but it does take a while. I will say that I've done a lot of things. I have a resume that would stop most people, but this is an industry, this is a job that commands respect. Carrying 53-foot trailers, fully loaded, we're 80,000 pounds going down the road. I drive all 48 states. I am excited and I am happy and humbled to be living one of my bucket list items. I've wanted to drive a truck since I was a kid. So I figured, hey, there's a pandemic. Now's a good time to go drive a truck. So a year ago, I went and got my license. And so this is what I'm doing now. Well, just kind of. In addition to a lot of other things, which you yourself are multi-talented, which is amazing. I absolutely love that about you. Being able to be a phenomenal woman, a phenomenal human, means knowing when to turn your head, when to pivot, and when to move into something else because that door or that window is cracking for you and you want to go in. I talk to people all the time about what did you want to do when you were a little kid, when you had no inhibitions? What did you want to do? So in my role as a job coach, I ask that question because a lot of times people forget about something that they're really deep down are passionate about. Oftentimes, if they discover along the journey that it is their calling to share with the world whatever this little thing is. It seems like a little thing, but I believe that little thing over time becomes a big thing that can #change the world.
Very true.
I love it. And #change the world is what Rolanda McDuffie is now getting ready to do. Well, actually, she's doing it because she has nonprofits as her customers. And what we're going to actually have to break for a commercial. But what I wanted, and Ms. D, I know you'll hang with us for just a couple more minutes. But what would you say then to Rolanda McDuffie who's now multi-talented, multitasking in those businesses. When you heard, and maybe you heard her say how difficult it was and how pressing and depression that you go through, and you've experienced that, and you'll talk about the summit, but what would you say to her moving forward?
Do we want to do that now or after the break? Because I have a few words.
Oh, well, if it's a few words, then let's just do this. We'll do it after the break. But I do want, let's make this announcement because this is the first half hour of our show. Rolanda McDuffie, we have a winner for your first book. And
who is it?
If you could tell us what was her, I'm not able to see the Facebook post, but let's find out what she said. She was the number 4th person to place a comment about why I want Rolanda's book. And we may not get to hear her response until after the hour, but the winner is Gretchen Mickler, who is a staunch supporter of the show. So congratulations, Gretchen. We are so pleased. And I know this is another person who gives a lot, supports a lot of businesses, and she'll be able to share that information as well. So congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations, Gretchen.
That book is going to be mailed to you very, very soon. So listen up for the second half of the show. We will give away the second copy of this phenomenal book. And you're going to hear Rolanda McDuffie talk about it's more than just numbers. So now we've got to kind of pull the theories in, and we can understand how those nonprofits can better project where they're going in the future and be able to latch on to something new. So thank you so much for pulling over. I know you're going to come back after the show, Miss D, the job coach, to talk to us about not just a summit, not just an empowerment summit, but the empowerment summit of Tampa Bay. So let's pause for a moment, ladies. Put your logos up, and we will come back after the break. Back in a moment.
My show that will be all up in your business. Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Couso. Every Wednesday at 12:31 p.m. My business experts provide insight for business entities and entrepreneurs. So join us every Wednesday from 12:31 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. at www.intouchnews.com. Catch my show.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web. In Touch Radio.
And we are back. Welcome back to Let's Talk Business with SJC, my co-host, Diva J. We are interviewing our guest who is also going to serve as our co-host for the next 2 months, and that's Ms. Rolanda S. McDuffie. I was going to ask you, what does the S stand for? Make sure you're muted.
It's my middle name. My middle name is Sinette.
All right. Well, thank you so much, because I know oftentimes we will use the RSM, and now we know what it stands for. So we're back. Welcome back. Thank you to all of our Facebook family. For those of you who are just tuning in, our guest today is Ms. Rolanda McDuffie, and here to give her words of encouragement and to help her continue along in her path is none other than Margaret Torres, the Miss D, the job coach, and she can tell you about a job or two. But talk to Rolanda, and then talk to us about the Empowerment Summit. Miss D?
Well, as I was thinking of what I wanted to tell you, Rolanda, I think the biggest thing that I want to tell you is trust yourself. You know, you get a lot of outside voices. People tell you a lot of things. They put little ideas in your head. And I know in my journey, I had to learn the gift of discernment. I had to learn to determine which little bugs that went in my ear did I really need to listen to? Did they align with me and what I want to project out into the world? I've had a lot of jobs. One of the reasons that I'm a job coach is not just the 20 years that I spent in human resources, hiring, training, and developing people, but because I've had a lot of jobs on my journey. And as I encourage people, I say, people will offer you things, but learn to trust your own voice. Who are you? What do you want to be remembered as? And keep listening to your own voice. If what others are sharing with you lines up with you and your principles and how you want to go up in the world, then you keep doing that. People will have a vision for you that's not your vision for yourself. Sometimes it's given with wisdom, sometimes not so much. So learning how to discern what is truly for you. I spent many years going down, I call them the bunny trails. I spent many years going down other people's bunny trails before I realized the universe brought me right back to where I started and got me in line with what I truly believe is destined for my life. Coming out here and driving this truck, yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I've had an amazing opportunity. But I ask myself every day, is this what I should be doing with my time? Is this where I should be right now? And on the day that I say to myself, it's not what I should be doing, I will hand over the keys, because I know that there is a mission on my life to change the world. And when you get that clear on your own conviction, my love, it'll get so easy every single day.
Wow.
I love that. Thank you for that.
You have the mic, Rolanda.
No, I was saying I love that. I love what you were saying. I really appreciate that. I definitely will hold that and move forward with those words for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
so the Empowerment Summit Tampa Bay, it is named as it is named on purpose, because it is the premier event. There's nothing else like this in Tampa Bay. It's 3 layers. You guys talked about networking. You have to build a network. I did a live the other day with my co-founder, who's actually just down the road from where I am today. And we talked about the net that is the network. That network is going to hold you up when you can't hold yourself up because you think you're about to pass out. Okay? When you get overwhelmed, when you start to think that maybe you're going in the wrong direction. If you build a strong network, the network will encourage you and propel you forward. They will help you to pivot. They will help you hold the work and get the work done. So the Empowerment Summit has networking, but we also have inspired speakers, people that you would stand next to in the grocery store and have no idea what they accomplished, because they're not verbose, they're not professional speakers, they're just regular people who've done amazing things. I have an eye, and I can see people who know where they're going, and they just keep going, whether other people applaud them or not. They know what they're supposed to be doing, and they do it. And those are the people that are on my stage. And the last part of the Empowerment Summit is that we raise money for a local charity. And so I know that's something that you love and embrace, and you personify as well, is giving to the community. Tampa Bay is an amazing community, and it is wrapped in nonprofit organizations that fill in the gaps. So this year, Our theme is hope and healing, because we know after this pandemic, there is so many people that are looking for hope and they need a little bit of healing as well. So we selected Cecilia Mitchell and Hands of Hope Sickle Cell Awareness Foundation. She's an amazing individual who just set out to educate and bring an awareness to this disease, because most people that have this disease, you would look at them and you wouldn't think there was anything going on with them. So it's one of those hidden diseases. But people who have sickle cell go through many, many different types of struggles. And I love what Cecilia Mitchell does. So we selected her this year to align with our hope and healing theme for the Empowerment Summit Tampa Bay on August the 7th.
All right.
That's amazing.
It is. And because, I mean, all of us have this passion. You guys are my colleagues, my friends. You know that I used my birthday this year, still using my birthday this year to support 10 causes that are dear to my heart. And so I have supported nonprofits really since I was a child. And as I hear you talk about fulfilling purposes and understanding your journey, your work, and discerning what it is that you're supposed to be doing right now, allow me to take the opportunity. It's Rolanda's birthday. It's her 45th birthday. And her goal for the 45th birthday was to release her first published book. And she'll talk about what she wants us to do to make those numbers all add up. Well, here's what's adding up for our numbers. I launched with Diva J. She facilitated the birthday show, and it was Cheryl's 64K birthday fundraiser for 10 nonprofits. I'm not going to go through all 10 of them, but the first one was a second wish. And let me say thank you to you, Miss D, because you heard the show and shortly thereafter made your donation to a second wish. And so we are raising $6,400 for a second wish, but $64,000 for the 10 causes. And today, a second wish, oh, I see the chart is all the way up. But what I'm most excited about is we have exceeded the halfway mark for a second wish. But the beautiful part, yes, thank you. The beautiful part is we have already hit the $15,000 mark from just family and friends, just people that were a part of the birthday show and is still seeing the post. So we'll update that on our Facebook page, but we know we're going to hit that 64K. We are working through the end of 2021. And so supporting our nonprofits is so important. So to have Rolanda McDuffie on with a book specifically for that, understanding the numbers, I love it. To have you on, Miss D, telling us about what you are doing and understanding your mission and your spirit of discernment. And here you are helping a nonprofit as well. Wow, what more could a girl ask for?
Well, the universe aligns whether we know it or not. And I love that we have created this network and this space for communication. I'm always ever grateful to In Touch News Radio for giving us this opportunity to connect with one another. Yes. You and I knew, I think, of each other, but until we shared space at In Touch and through 5508 and the different networks that we have right in the Tampa Bay area, we didn't have this opportunity. And we've grown closer through the Empowerment Summit because someone in your network yes said, this is who you need to talk to. And she's in my network. So yes, I think it's just all about us holding each other together, holding each other accountable, and doing the work consistently. Because yes, I believe over time, the consistency of us doing the work and showing up every single day, even on the days we don't feel like, even on the days we have bad hair, I think that's how we're going to get it done.
Thank you so much, Miss D. And thank you for pulling over and pulling that 18-wheeler over to share encouragement with Rolanda McDuffie and what she's getting ready to do. It's amazing, helping us to celebrate her 45th birthday. But we've got to get back with this lady. We've talked about the woman. We've talked about the wisdom and the work. And now we're going to talk about Ms. Rolanda S. McDuffie, published author.
Well, guys, I'm going to jump off because I've got somewhere to go. You guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Keep
We'll
doing
see you
what
at the
you're
summit.
doing. See you at the summit.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
And
you.
Rolanda, we're waiting for, and Diva J is going to pop on as well, and we'll learn about that. Congratulations. What a perfect gift to yourself. Did you have problems or struggles trying to align that up? Because when you're publishing a book, you're dealing with a number of people, but you knew that book was going to be published by your birthday?
I was hopeful. I'll just say that. So for the most part, I think it came in alignment because of the fact that I had an idea that I wanted to write a book, and it was just me knowing what I wanted to put in the book. So just going through the process of writing it down, right? And I tried to leave it enough time at the end so that I could get through the whole editing, formatting, and, book cover and all of that. So I was trying to, yes, but I'm glad that it worked out.
And I'm glad that it worked out too. I think the timing is perfect. So you're here to talk about your book and that whole process. And at the same time, you are also going to step in for my co-host for today's show and as well August show. You birthed your book, but there's another birth that we want to talk about. And this is just a precious, precious birth. I mean, I'm just a baby magnet and I just love babies. And I would have had 8 if my husband would have allowed me. But that being said, Diva J.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, there she is. Oh my gosh, Diva J. Listen, this is a promo for baby boy Julius Eugene Smith. I love the name. Eugene, that's my brother's middle name too. Born July 6th, 2021. That's her Juneteenth baby. That's what we're gonna call them. That's our Independence Celebration Week. Listen, and this is what I like, Diva J. He was born at 8:09 p.m. and weighed in at 8 pounds 6 ounces.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Jamar and Jeanette Diva Horse Smith. Listen, this little one is also the big brother to Jamar, who is 3 years old. Welcome to the show, and let's hear from you. Congratulations. Look at that baby's face.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Our previous guest talked about the days when your hair's not done and you don't feel like showing up, but you do it anyway. Today is one of those days. But I always am happy to be in the mix. Julius is laying right here by my side as we speak. So I am living on a 2-week-old schedule, but it's a blessing to birth a healthy baby and to be in my recovery stage and just enjoy this moment as we acclimate our new family +1. So it's been such a blessing to just have another little boy not running around, rolling around right now.
Give him a minute. It will, I mean, you can tell by just Jamar to think that he's 3 years old. My gosh, I remember when you were carrying him. Amazing. All praises to God. So Diva J is going to be on maternity leave, and that's why Rolanda is wearing 2 hats today. But listen, Rolanda, Diva J has been working with nonprofits for a long time. So what do you say to Rolanda, Diva J, about such a book?
Man, I've been on mute, but I've definitely been listening, Rolanda, and I think your book is going to be such a key resource to so many individuals. I mean, while my focus with most of my clients is marketing, oftentimes I'm always saying to them, you need to start a nonprofit. When they start talking about they need sponsorships for this and they want to do that, I know that those things fall best under 501c3s. And so the next question becomes, well, how do I start? And that's where I put my hands up and say, well, I don't really know. So having a book like this is certainly going to be a tool that I begin to reference and encourage people to read and to learn from as they seek that information. But I think that this is just a awesome tool. I can't wait to get my copy, to read, to become more informed and educated about the process so I can be a resource even more so. But I certainly commend you on that. When I started my company, to Cheryl's point, the first two things I got on my team was an attorney and a CPA. And that was the best decision that I made out the gate, because my CPA has come in clutch so many times when there were questions and just situations that I had no clue how to handle or finagle. So I certainly am excited to see you, especially as a Black woman entrepreneur, writing this book and being a resource in that way. I'm just very excited to get my hands on a copy, because I want to learn a little bit more about this as well. So thank you for taking the time for that.
Awesome. I really appreciate your words. And to your point of what you said, as far as reaching out, having a CPA, I think, and I do applaud you for reaching or contacting or having a CPA on your team. What I find is that a lot of business owners and nonprofit organizations, they consider a CPA a luxury instead of a necessity when they're starting out. But you're right. There are so many different ways in which a CPA can assist both small business owners and nonprofit organizations, especially from that advisory standpoint. Instead of just consistently thinking about someone who can help you get your books in order or do your taxes. Of course, we can help you with that. But where a CPA strong or sweet spot is really the advisory services and helping organizations build upon that strong foundation outside of just the bookkeeping and the tax preparation work as well. So I do thank you for mentioning that.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I was just going to say to the point about the book, and I think Cheryl, you were going to bring this up, but I apologize if I'm going ahead as I don't want the founders and board members just to assume that this is about accounting and taxes, although there is accounting and taxes involved. Because of the fact that nonprofit board members, they have a fiduciary responsibility over the financial oversight over the organization. If you don't have a clear understanding of what you should be reviewing or what's needed in the organization, how can you provide great oversight in your role? And so it talks about the role. Should you be paying your board members, or how do you pay your executive director? How do you record donations, whether we're talking about in-kind donations or just cash donations or property donations? It also goes into talking about how do you handle a budget, or how to set up your budget for your nonprofit organization? So those are some things that are discussed, as well as the governance and policies and procedures that nonprofit organizations should have established within. So I just wanted to add that.
You're right. You've taken a couple of our questions, and DBJ would agree. One of the things that we both say to individuals when we're dealing with our customers, and DBJ will attest to this, is I look at a CPA to a nonprofit. As you're having this conversation, we often hear people say, well, I don't have a budget for advertising. I don't have a media budget. Well, you can't afford not to have one. And sometimes it's just a matter of reaching out to a source and understanding how they can help you bring in more income. And as well, you get to do the same thing, because you get to share with them about saving on taxes and as well on investments. Wouldn't you agree, Diva J?
Absolutely. I think that is completely true. People love to say, well, I don't have a budget. Well, call me when you do. But I think that is so important. And even as I support other nonprofit organizations, I think it's important that people even think about their board members. Your board members shouldn't just be people it should be people who have an invested interest in your mission and are willing to put their dollars behind whatever the needs of the organization are. And so, I've experienced supporting organizations with lackluster boards and organizations with very involved boards. And there's a clear distinction between what that organization is able to do based on the support of its infrastructure. So I think that everybody involved in a nonprofit has to have an invested interest in fulfilling its mission, or you have a very stressful executive director on your hands.
And that is very true, because I find that happens a lot. And the reason why the executive directors choose family members and friends specifically is because they don't want to relinquish control over running that organization. That's usually the number one reason. But to your point, in order to have a successful nonprofit organization and to really grow it the way that they envision it in their mind, they're going to have to get really professional board of directors to assist them in reaching their goals, instead of just, hoping that their family and friends are going to come through.
Mm-hmm. And Rolanda,
when you need to get those funds in, tell us. Thank you so much, Diva J, and we appreciate you taking the time to come out. I know sometimes you can have a schedule, but the little one really demands a schedule, and that's just the way it's going to be for quite a while. So we appreciate you jumping on and sharing with us. Let me allow Rolanda McDuffie. How do our listeners or anyone purchase your book?
Purchase the books you can purchase it in print to actually have the physical copy of the book, as I do here. Let me put it upside down. So here's the physical copy, or you can order it on Kindle as well on Amazon. So you just go to Amazon, and we'll add the link in the comment section below. Yes. But it's called Creating a Successful Nonprofit by Knowing Your Numbers.
And I was looking at the title, and what a play on words, because it is about numbers, but like you say, it's more about theories. And so how did you come up with the title?
So good point. Again, I kind of wanted to play on numbers, the word on numbers. So like I stated before, it's not really just about the accounting and taxes. For example, there's talking about things that you must have 3 board members, right? That's a part of the governance of the organization itself. So there's different topics that are discussed throughout the book around numbers, but it's not just focused on the accounting and the taxes of the organization, although that is an important portion of it.
All right. Well, we appreciate that, and we want to make sure. Wait, you have a goal for your 45th birthday. What's your goal?
Yes, I would love to be an Amazon bestseller for my 45th birthday with this new release of my book. So if everyone can go out and purchase a copy today, that would be amazing. You can also gift it to any of your board members who you sit on a board with. I'm sure they'll appreciate having this knowledge as well. So if you could all go out and support, I would truly appreciate being an Amazon bestseller.
And I thank you for that. You certainly have our support. I'm looking forward to my copy, and I'm going to take your word. Our fundraiser is supporting 10 nonprofits, and we will make sure that all 10 also have a copy of your book, because we're all about supporting you and what you're doing. And you heard Diva J say it will allow her to be a great reference for you as well. And Diva J, a shout out to you. I got a beautiful thank you card in the mail from Marsh Orthodontist. And I mean, a beautiful thank you card. So it just goes to show you, when we're doing what we say we're going to do and supporting those Black-owned businesses, supporting our Black nonprofits, because Rolanda will be speaking on National Black Nonprofit Day. Last year, Diva J assisted us in doing our fundraiser for National Black Business Month, because at the end, 8/28 was a Sunday, and she certainly facilitated that event for us. So we're hoping to try to complete most of our goals by 8/28. And you, Rolanda S. McDuffie, is going to be one of the speakers.
Yes, I'll be speaking at Blacks and Nonprofits this year, speaking on the topic of taxes and how important they are and how you should be using your 990 for your nonprofit organization. So thank you for shouting that out.
Yes, and let's do this. I challenge you all. If you're listening as a result of the show today, whether on In Touch on our Facebook page, you're listening 2 weeks from now, tag this post, tag the link so that others can purchase the book as well. We certainly will continue to do that. And Rolanda S. McDuffie will be joining us the 3rd hour of the show for August, and we'll talk more in detail and specific chapters about the book. But our mission today was to introduce her to you. She'll be standing in for Diva J. In addition to that, we want to make sure that she reaches her Amazon goal of a bestseller. Is there a timeline attached to that goal with Amazon?
You know, not sure.
That's okay. Listen, we will figure that out because we certainly want to help you reach that goal as well. So that means Let's Talk Business is looking at, let's see, we got 4. Now we want to make sure we do 10 for the nonprofits, and we appreciate what it is that you are doing. So as we begin to wrap up the show, the comments will be there. Oh, our 5th winner. Okay, so let's see. Diamond, if you would let us know from selection who that 5th or who a 5th winner is, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll put that in our thank you post as well. But if you post the name for me, we'll go ahead and gift that book to them. You know the book. So glad you were able to support us and then help us put the book in the hands of 2 members. So the 5th, not the 5th, but the 5th person, if you will, but the winner that's going to receive the 2nd copy of Rolanda's book is Andrea M. Neely. So congratulations to Andrea, congratulations to Gretchen. You guys can look for your book in the mail sometime soon. Thank you to Diva J. Thank you so much to you, Rolanda, and what it is that you're doing. We look forward to seeing you back in a month.
Yes.
We'll do an update on you. Enjoy the rest of your birthday. Enjoy your vacation. Join us next week for the 4th hour of the show when my new co-host, Kalia Campbell O'Neill of KCB Design, she's going to be talking to us about her Sewing Academy and how the youth have been doing for the last 4 weeks. I'm so excited to hear her update on that show. But until then, this show is a wrap.